Hey there guys, my name's Jacob Jabut, and last year I started my very own business in hopes of one day reaching financial freedom. I have learned a ton since I started, and I wanted to create this channel as a way to share with you guys what I've learned, but also follow me along my journey. On the road to financial freedom.
Alrighty, so I haven't made a video in a little while, but mainly because I'm trying to edit. I shot a bunch of them and then was like, you know, I gotta edit these and get them uploaded, so I kind of focused on that. And a lot of the jobs that I had were hedge trimming jobs or jobs that I had already done in the other videos. But anyways, today I am doing another landscaping job. I'm gonna be putting a bed right here, and something new is I gotta move this tree into the new bed, as well as put another tree in there, and it's going to require some equipment, so I'm going to be using a skid steer at the end of the day. But before that, I'm in the process of digging this tree up, and then I'm going to be digging the holes that this tree and the other tree are going to be going into. Just trying to get a nice root ball. This is a sizable tree, and I'm going to wait for these big roots. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna dig them out a little bit further and then do a nice clean cut on them. So those will be last, and I won't cut those until I have the hole and we're pretty much ready to just move it over there. So that way it has the least exposure to the elements. But I don't know, that root ball right there is not a bad height, but I'm gonna dig down a little bit further so I can really get underneath it. So the next thing I'm gonna do today is I have a hose, and I'm just gonna lay out the shape of the bed. This tree here is gonna be going right here, and then I have a pine or a spruce that's gonna be going right here. And then I think we're gonna put some perennials over there, but we're gonna bring some fill in and raise it up for the perennials. And then we just need to dig those two holes for the this weeping cherry and the spruce. Depending what time it is, we can't get the skid steer till after 3. So if I still have some time, I'll probably bring the fill in and start doing that. If not, the main thing I have to get done is digging those 2 holes and having this dug up and ready to go for the skid steer. Just a quick note too, it's October 18th and it's starting to get cold. Today was the first day. I think there's a high of like 52 today, so it's gonna be pretty cold. I think it's like 40 something right now. So this week, and then I would say next week is gonna be like my last week really doing the property maintenance stuff. Maybe some interior painting or something, but I think it's gonna be too cold after that. Anyways, yeah, so I just want to do an update on that. So the videos coming up after this are probably going to be me trying to either buy some real estate or doing some videos, or start ramping up the garbage business. We'll see. Bunch of options. But yeah, this is probably wrapping up the summer property maintenance work. So big guns are here. I got my dad. I'm really gonna be following his lead on this one because I've never moved a tree before, so he's gonna help me out. Alrighty, so I got this pretty well dug out. As you can see, there is obviously some stuff still connecting at the bottom, but what's starting to happen is this is actually starting to cave and fall off. So I really don't want to lose too much of that root ball or the dirt around the root ball. So I think I'm gonna kind of leave it like this. I'm gonna go get some stakes and just kind of mark this off, so nobody living here comes out here and trips in it. Then I'm gonna start digging the holes over there, and the bottom of this, I think once we pick it up with a skid steer, well, I'll cut the roots, pick it up with a skid steer, and then if I have to, I can dig out the bottom, but I think that'll just come right out. All right, so I actually just brought some of my nice camera equipment, and I got some before footage of where the landscaping bed will be, as well as this tree. And hopefully, if this bed turns out as nice as I think it will, I'll come back and get some after footage and then do a cool little video. And depending on when I do that, I'll probably put that in the in this video at the end. But I think that'll be pretty cool. It's something I definitely want to start doing. Is I got my nice camera, 4K. I like to bring that, and I don't know, think it's a good idea to start getting some after footage.
Alrighty, so I was able to dig both the holes for the trees. I actually ended up having quite a bit of time, so I went with my dad and we picked out all the perennials. We laid them out. My phone died, so I wasn't able to get footage of that stuff. I've been charging it. But what I'm gonna do now is, it's 2:20. I gotta pick up that skid steer at 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and go get the topsoil, so that's ready to go. And then I'm gonna go pick up the skid steer. We can get those trees placed in. And tomorrow I'll probably be finishing up. Still gotta turn the bed over, get the topsoil out of there, and a couple other things, but just about done. I picked up the skid steer. Now I am just waiting for either my dad or my girlfriend to follow me over to the job site, so that way, I don't know, I don't get a ticket, I suppose. But yeah, skid steer is secured. Now it's time to head over there and pick up and move that tree. So, and there's my girlfriend, so we're gonna get to it. The spruce is in its place. We just gotta put some topsoil in there. All the perennials are laid out. We gotta move the weeping cherry still. I'm probably gonna have to make this hole a little bit bigger. This one had to be made a little bit bigger. But yeah, all the topsoil is in my truck. And I think if we can get that tree moved over and some of the new topsoil put in here, that should be good for today. And then tomorrow we'll be, getting the shape of the bed made, repairing ruts, getting the mound ready, and then probably mulching. So yeah. I didn't get a whole lot of footage yesterday. It was, well, we're running out of daylight, and we need to use that skid steer to get everything put in place. But we managed to move the tree, the weeping cherry over here, and we also got that blue spruce in the ground. We also got some nice topsoil in there, some nice new topsoil, and watered the heck out of it. So it should be good. They definitely have the best chance to live. Now the next thing here is really getting these perennials figured out with their spacing, making sure they're far enough away, and making sure we got the shape of the bed, everything set. And then once that's all ready to go, I'm gonna move the perennials out of here, dig up the rest of this topsoil. I'll probably use the topsoil to fill in some of the ruts that the skid steer made, and then all of this fill will be used to create the mound, as well as the rest of the topsoil in the truck. That'll go over this as well. And yeah, we should have plenty of fill, I would say, to make that mound. Then it's just planting these perennials, and I gotta see if I can find some black mulch. Otherwise I'm gonna have to put the mulch in the spring. But probably have one more day, maybe 2. I got the shape of the bed here. Now what I'm doing is I'm digging up the sod. As you can see, I already dug up all throughout here. I gotta dig in through here more. So right here's where all the perennials are gonna go, but it's gonna be mounded up. These are gonna be flat, so all the sod needs to come out of here. The sod that's in the middle here doesn't matter because it's gonna be mounded and covered. It's not gonna grow through that. But what I am doing is I already used some of this sod from over here. I put in the wheelbarrow, and the ruts that the skid steer made, I just packed them in. There's some more over there. I might use some more sod for, but I think I'm gonna use fill actually for that. It'll go quicker and it's gonna be the same thing. The way this is shaped is this circle kind of bows out, I suppose, this way. I measured from that point to that point, it was 12 feet, so I put right in the middle at 6 feet a marker, and then I measured from that marker to here, which was 12 feet again, so I put a marker at 6 feet. But like I said, this is about the middle, but since this side kind of bows out, I
you know, measured it again from there to there, and I just kind of put the marker about a foot over. I have a picture of the way the perennials are laid out. I'll put that up now. So the bee bombs are going to be on top, 3 of those. Those are going to be on the mound, and everything's kind of facing to the right just a little bit. When you do landscaping, you never want everything to be symmetrical. I tried to make everything in this bed, you know, curved. There's no straight lines. Now I am just going to dig just a foot around here, like I said, because this is going to be mounded up. So I'm just throwing that sod into the middle. The first thing I'm going to do is put rocks and the sod at the bottom. That's the crappiest stuff. And then I'm going to put the dirt, mostly sand, that came out of the 2 holes on top of that. And then the fill will be going on top of that. These dirt piles, sand piles, I guess, I have to put those on second to last because I can't put the sod right under the topsoil. It'll grow up. The sod and rocks need to be at the bottom, and there's some sod under there that has to be dug up. I'm thinking all the sod that I can dig up, as well as the sod that's already in the wheelbarrow, I am going to dump right into the mound here. Whatever sod I dig up after moving all that dirt pile, I'll have to just use for the ruts, I suppose. The only other way would be to move the dirt pile somewhere else and then move it again, which I'm not gonna do. So yeah, time to move some more sod and dirt. Alrighty, so I'm starting to get this pretty well mounded up. I've just been playing around with it. The bee bombs are gonna go on top, so I've been measuring that. I need 6 feet of space there, which I pretty much have. I just need to fill in this spot here, and then I'm gonna alternate the daylilies and the black-eyed Susans on this sort of slope part. So I'm thinking about just alternating them. So one here, well, it'll actually be 3 on kind of the slope part, and then this little step here, 3, but they'll be alternated, if that makes sense, like that. And then the lilies, there's 5 of those. Those will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I finally got this mounted up just the way I want it, and I think it looks really good. I'm gonna actually go down to my house. It's right down the street, and get a water, as I am pretty dehydrated. And then I'm gonna come back, put the topsoil in, and rake it over. And then tomorrow we'll be planting and mulching. I finished putting the topsoil on. The only thing left to do is to plant those perennials and mulch everything, as well as pick up any debris that's there. But today's Wednesday, so that means I have to do the garbage run. So that'll be the first thing I do. Just finished with the garbage run. I also stopped by a place, same place I got my fill, to see if they had black mulch. No places have black mulch, at least not by the yard. They do have it by the bag, but they were a little bit more expensive per cubic foot than what Lowe's has. So I'm gonna go to Lowe's and see if I can get, I think it's gonna be about 40 bags. I'm gonna go get my dad. I know how to plant the perennials, or I'm pretty sure, but I just wanna have him there just to make sure I got everything the right way, and if he's got any tips and tricks for me. So I'm gonna go see, might have to wake him up. As you can see, all the topsoil is in place. The customer put their hydrangea that they want at the top there. I'm gonna go ahead and start digging out the holes for all the perennials as well as the hydrangea, and then putting in all the mulch. So all the bee bombs already planted, but pretty much you just, I was actually using this, and what I was doing was dropping it right down through the stake, and then I'd put it, it'd fall right to the ground. And once it was on the ground, I would just twist it around so I knew the shape that I had to cut out, and then I'd cut out just a little bit further around that, and then I dug it down, not all the way. You can see I left maybe an inch or so above the ground because I am putting mulch down. So I leave just a little bit of it sticking up. And yeah, so I gotta do that for the rest of these. And as you can see from the time lapse, it took me a lot of time. I was going around and rearranging the shape here because this hydrangea is gonna take up about 3 to 5 feet. I measured a circle around here, 3.5 feet around, and then I planted everything 2 feet, at least 2 feet away from it. Bed's all done. I used some of the mulch to fill in the area where the tree was pulled out. But yep, just gotta grab my tripod and a few other things, and that is looking really sharp. This is a wrap. It's time to do the numbers.
Alrighty guys, it is time to dive into the numbers on this one. This job grossed $3,050. It took me right around 20 hours. I had done this a while ago. I was basing the time off of the footage, and it was right around 20 hours, give or take. I did have actually a pretty lengthy list of expenses for this job. I had right around $100 for topsoil. I wrote it was right around $150 for that dwarf evergreen, about $200 for the perennials, $150 for the fill. Yeah, okay, yeah. And $300 to rent the skid steer, $50 for fuel roughly, and $12 for the landfill. Now, the skid steer, I actually was lucky enough to be able to borrow it from my brother-in-law. We'll say it's my girlfriend's sister's boyfriend, but we'll say brother-in-law for now. I was very fortunate enough to be able to borrow that from him. These numbers are not exact. Give or take, I said about $1,000 in expenses. So, with that being said, that puts us at $2,050 for our total profit. Um, we actually were a little bit more, like I said, because of skid steer and whatnot, but we'll say for now $2,050 profit. Now this puts us at $102.50 profit per hour, which is, I mean, that is awesome. That's right where I want to be. I feel like I say that every time. I want to be anywhere from $50 to $100 an hour. If I'm over that, amazing. Once I start using bigger equipment like skid steers and stuff, I think I should definitely be over $100. To be honest, I think it should probably be ballpark $200 per hour for that piece of equipment, because anybody that's worked with a skid steer, the amount of money that goes into any kind of fix on one of those things is, $1,000 pretty much minimum. Anyways, getting a little bit off topic. Something that I would have done different on this job, digging up that sod was a pain in the butt. I should have dug that up before anything else, or at least maybe after I dug the holes for the trees I could have dug it up, but I definitely should have dug it up before I had put the trees in there, the dwarf evergreen or the weeping cherry. I put the pile of dirt when I dug the tree holes, and I put it on top of the sod that I had to dig up. So if I could do this again, I would just dig up all of the sod first, either using a rototiller or a skid steer. Skid steer really will track up the lawn, so maybe a rototiller and then piling it up to mound it, or maybe even using a skid steer to push it into a mound would have saved an enormous amount of time. Either way, just digging up that sod before I had put the trees in. Something that I liked about this job, I really enjoy landscaping. I had some creative freedom. Now, I suppose not every landscape job will be like that. I'm sure customers will be very picky about how they want everything shaped, but this customer was really cool and just basically told me, hey, you've been doing this stuff, do what you think looks cool. He said the gist of what he wanted, obviously moving the weeping cherry over and planting a dwarf evergreen, but other than that, he said make the bed as you feel will look good. And having that freedom for me made it really exciting, and I was thinking about cars driving by, which things they would see. He had mentioned that he wanted Christmas lights on the dwarf evergreen, so I kind of made that the prominent feature in the bed, while also making some space for the weeping cherry, which also reminds me something I would do differently is giving more room for the spruce. I thought I had put the weeping cherry and the spruce far enough away. Once I put them in the ground, I realized how close they actually were. But going back to what I liked was just the creative freedom. And then for the perennials, my idea was the way the sidewalk was shaped to have, you can see them when you pull into the driveway, and then while you're walking into the house, his mom lives with him and she's a little bit older and she really enjoyed the perennials. So that's something for her as she's walking out, we'll be able to admire those. Moving on to somebody starting out, what would it cost for you to do a job like this? Now, there's some different avenues that you can take. I myself, you can see, I could say someone starting out needs to go buy a skid steer to do this job. I have not bought a skid steer. They're very expensive, and I don't do enough work with them to justify buying one. So you're probably gonna be in the same boat as me. I would say rent it. Now, the things you are gonna need, getting a metal rake, which is gonna be about $50. Shovels, I used 3 different shovels. I used a flat shovel to scoop out the dirt from the truck. I also used a spade for digging the holes, and I used I'm not sure what to call them, but they're flat and they're good for edging. I forget the specific name for them, but I had 3 different shovels, so you're looking at about $150 for those shovels. An axe and or loppers, both of them together is gonna be about $70. That was to cut the roots. And as always, a truck, which I've said before, it's gonna be $10,000 to anywhere to $50,000 or even $70,000, but I always reference $10,000 for somebody starting out. But another option, like I rented the skid steer, you could pay somebody to drop off the dirt there or to get rid of materials for you. You wouldn't necessarily need a truck. You could just factor that into your expenses, and even before you do the job, put it into the estimate that you will be paying somebody to get rid of or deliver the materials via truck. So for, I guess, argument's sake, or for this example, I say you do have a truck. I think the total price here is was that $10,270. It would take you 5 of these jobs to pay that back. So you could pay off a truck in 5 of these jobs. Now, I've been doing this for a little while. I haven't got jobs. I have got a lot of landscaping jobs, but I think this is the highest paying job that I've got. It was the first time that I've had to plant anything actually, or move things. Moving trees can be very difficult. So this was actually the most profitable and the highest paying, maybe not most profitable, but the highest paying job. So it might be difficult to get 5 of those at least right off the bat. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have. I already know this is going to be a long video, so I'm kind of trying to go through this somewhat quickly so I'm not ending up with a 30-minute video. But as always, guys, if you like the video, leave a like. If you do landscaping and you have any tips for me, or if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Anything else, just leave it in the comments below. Subscribe if you would like to. It always helps me out. And as always, I will see you guys next week. Thank you.